Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Chaz Man Show. My name is Chaz Riddle, and this is my video. It's going to be a box office results show as well as a review show for the new movie Us by Jordan Peele. Now, the reason why I'm coming to you today from my car is because I had to drive down to DC, and I'm on my way back. I've got a 21-minute delay here. And if you notice, I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at the road ahead of me, which is what I'm supposed to do. But I did not want to delay anymore doing this video because I wanted it to get it out there as quickly as possible. Because there are some people that I actually put a feeler out earlier today saying I was going to be doing a video, and people were responding nicely saying they were looking forward to my review. So anyhow, rather than wait to get home and get all cleaned up and set up my camera with the good microphone and the good camera and then add graphics and all that wonderful stuff, let's go ahead and kick this off. Okay, Jordan Peele's sophomore effort, Us, debuted this weekend with a opening box office $71 million. Now I say sophomore effort because his first movie was Get Out, which was, one of the better movies of last year. Even had a nomination for Best Film of the Year. Didn't win, but what the hell? When you're included in those the top movies out there, you got to be doing something right. I didn't understand why Bradley Cooper wasn't nominated for Best Director for A Star Is Born, but I don't know how the Academy works a whole lot. But anyhow, that being said, and I'm going to get to the review in just a few minutes, but let's go ahead and complete the box office. In second place was Captain Marvel in its third week with about $35 million. And it's falling quickly domestically. Domestically, it's falling, but it's under the same, downward spiral that almost every movie does. I mean, the first movie, when a movie first debuts, the following week it usually falls by about 50%, and then so on and so forth. So Captain Marvel being in second position with $30-something million, $35 million is about where it should be. Interesting note, it actually is around $900 million worldwide, so it's approaching that billion-dollar mark pretty quickly, which is putting a lot of the haters in their place. Now, I'm going to say this. I didn't love Captain Marvel. In fact, what I liked about that movie mostly was the opening sequence with the cameos by Stan Lee. I also liked the actual cameo of from Stan Lee, where he's referring to his lines. Spoiler alert, he's referring to his lines that he had in Mallrats, written by Kevin Smith. And I think as Kevin Smith is a filmmaker, I think he probably got a lot of great joy out of that cameo performance, because Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, Stan Lee being on a bus or a subway, whatever it was, practicing his lines to be in the Mallrats movie. I think it was just so appropriate, and there was actually even a little nod by Carol Danvers there, or Brie Larson, depending on how you look at it. When he says his line, and I just thought that was a great moment in that movie. And also the very ending of Captain Marvel, where Captain Marvel shows up at the Avengers facilities. This is actually an end credit. So what happened in between the opening credits and the ending credits, it just didn't work for me. That being said, Captain Marvel was a pretty decent flick, as movies go. It's an MCU movie, which, how can you really do a bad one when you've got hundreds of millions of dollars behind it in production, writers, actors, and advertising and promotion? So they're not going to put out a loser movie. That being said, Captain Marvel was in second place, and so I could think the score I gave that was a C. In fact, I know I gave that a C. Okay, so the third movie was, it was that movie Wonder Park, with about $8 million, as I recall. And then down the line was How to Train Your Dragon and 5 Feet Apart. When there's not a whole lot of competition out there, that's a good reason why the top 2 spots were taken up by Captain Marvel and Jordan Peele's Us. Okay, so there's your weekend box office results. The next few months, the next few weeks actually, are going to tell the tale about the box office, because we've got some couple of movies coming out real soon. Avengers Endgame coming out April 26th. That's my mom's birthday. Don't forget that. Send her a nice card. She turns 39 again. But before that, in about 2 weeks, we've got a couple of great ones coming out there. Shazam is coming out, which there was a pre-screening this past week, which I missed and I really regret. But the reviews from that movie are fantastic. People are loving it. Zachary Levi did a lot of visiting to the movie theaters out there in California. Just drop-ins to say hi to the crowd and thank them for coming out, which I think is a true sign of a guy that's really happy with his movie, happy with his performance. And also the fact that they released it 2 weeks early is this proof that is this proof that Warner Brothers was really behind the Shazam movie. And I think that's called showmanship. Actually, if you think about it, it's show business. And he was doing the business of show. Okay, so moving right along. So you got I keep calling it Captain Marvel because he's from my generation. That Shazam was just the name that he said to become Captain Marvel. But of course, there was some people out there that probably got confused. So now they shortened it up. So Shazam, so Captain Marvel of my era, the male Captain Marvel, just goes by Shazam these days. So be it. So if I refer to Captain Marvel as Captain Marvel in that context, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, but anyhow, moving right along, you've also got Pet Sematary coming out on the same day, and then you've got after that, the following week, you've got Hellboy, you've got Dumbo coming out. These are all movies that are going to be great competition for Shazam, my Captain Marvel. But getting back online, getting back in line with what I was saying, Captain Marvel, when it debuted to $157 million, had absolutely no competition out there. The closest competitor on that week of debut for Captain Marvel was $14 million by Alita Battle Angel. Okay, so when Shazam comes out, it's got some competition out there. That being said, I think it's still going to do about $70 million on its debut week, and then it's going to keep going. And while it won't break the $1 billion mark, I don't think, then again, Aquaman surprised everybody and broke the $1 billion mark. And in fact, I think it's in number 1 position above The Dark Knight Rises. So how's that for Disney, or not Disney, a DC movie going out and hitting a home run after the limited success of Batman v Superman and Justice League. Wonder Woman was a home run as well. Okay, but anyhow, back in line with my review, kind of get to that real quick. Okay, so this is Jordan Peele's sophomore effort. His first movie, Get Out, great movie. People loved it, Academy Award nominations. So his sophomore effort here is Us. He's got a great cast there. Lupita Nyong'o, hope I'm saying that right. She was in Black Panther along with the other guy, Duke something or another. I can't think of his name right now. Not important. But Elizabeth Moss was in this movie, and then they had a couple of supporting characters, the 2 kids of the main characters there. Okay, so what do I think makes the great part of a movie? Well, story, cast, and execution. Okay, now, was this a great story? No, it wasn't. It was a great premise. This movie had a great premise, but it failed in its execution right around the 3rd act. Okay, it almost went down that rabbit hole, and there's a big key element there I'm going to mention in a second. They went down the rabbit hole of trying to be too much like an M. Night Shyamalan movie with the twist ending and all that stuff. Now, Shyamalan didn't invent twist endings, but he is known for them. So I think this guy, Jordan Peele, tried to do this twist ending, and I think he got caught up in it, and it just didn't deliver for me. Was it thought-provoking, as one of my viewers pointed out? Yeah, it was. It was thought-provoking. You know, I'm thinking, what the hell has to do with this, all this white rabbit stuff, the symbolism in that? Was it recalling, a reference to Alice in Wonderland and following the white rabbit? And are we losing time? Are we late? Are we late for a very important date? I don't know. Now, okay, so you've got my review there on as far as, was it a great story? No. Great premise? Well, good premise. Good premise, poor execution. The story could have been a lot stronger, but, it is held up by the fact that the cast was very good. Elizabeth Moss, I will say, though, is a TV star known for Mad Men and now A Handmaid's Tale. She might as well have just had a cameo or been, this was really nothing more than a cameo performance by her, as far as I'm concerned, because she was in there for, maybe 4 minutes. Spoiler alert. She was in there for maybe 4 minutes. So not a great big performance by her. So if you're going to the movies to see Elizabeth Moss' performance, save your money. It'll be out on Netflix within the next 6 months, probably available for digital download within three months. So that's another thing. Okay, so story, cast, execution. It failed on story, it failed on execution, had a great cast. However, Elizabeth Moss was, her character could have been played by anybody. In fact, her husband in this movie was played by anybody. I've never seen this guy before. Maybe I'm wrong in the fact that maybe he is somebody. Maybe he is a very well-known actor in the circles that he swings in. I don't know. But as far as I never knew who he was. Okay, so the main character's kids did a good job. They're kind of scary there. This is not a horror movie. This is more of a thriller genre with a twist ending. The symbolism escapes me. While I will give credit to each of the performers that played dual roles. Okay, because not to give away too much, because this is basically a movie about 4 people that go on a trip and they meet some friends. They're on their trip and they run into doppelgangers of themselves, evil doppelgangers, and of course, what happens? Havoc or mayhem ensues. And that's really the premise. Okay, they meet evil doppelgangers and they see what happens. It's not it's not like a Purge type thing, even though it does take over the course of 24 hours. And will there be a sequel? I don't know. I think that Jordan Peele's got enough following and enough clout in Hollywood if he wanted to make it, and then the executives in their ivory tower say, yeah, this is a moneymaker, let's go ahead and make a sequel. He might just shoot one out. Okay, so if I were to go back in time and watch this movie again, it would be an experience, and I'll just go from the very beginning. I would have liked to have waited to see this movie at home, but I wanted to experience the theatrical experience because there's that camaraderie, that cumulative experience you get when you're in a crowd of people watching the movie. If I were at home watching this movie, I would have fast forwarded the majority of this movie, because quite honestly, it's an hour and 50 some odd minutes. This story could have been told in 50 minutes, which is about the running time of a 1-hour drama on TV that includes commercials. Okay, I would have fast forwarded. I would have, and I would have left the room several times to get myself, a snack. That's another telltale sign for me. When I lose interest in a movie, and I could walk out, go watch something, go, in the other room, clean up, make the bed, do the laundry and come back and not miss anything. That's kind of how this movie was. You could have left for extended periods of time and not really lose sight of what was going on. Okay, so I want to kind of end this because I don't know how much video I'm going to be able to get on this phone before it shuts me off. It looks like I'm about 15 minutes into it, and I don't want to take a whole lot of your time because it's still this video has got to render and upload to YouTube so you can check it out. So let's sum this up. Let me make a statement here. If I were to sit in the movie theater one more time and I was up against, I had two choices. I had a choice of two movies. That is seeing a repeat performance of Captain Marvel or seeing Us. I would go to Captain Marvel again in a heartbeat, just because the sequences of the first few minutes with Stan Lee, the end credits, and the cameo of Stan Lee was enough it was worth the price of admission for me. If I had to see Us again, I would definitely borrow someone's Netflix password and watch it that way. So what I'm saying is, count your blessings if you've got somebody else's Netflix password, because that way you don't have to pay for this thing at all. I give this movie a C-. Okay, so that's my review for Jordan Peele's Us. The redeeming qualities were the performance by Lupita Nyong'o, but I will say she is overly hyped and she is a good actress. But when you associate, like some of the critics I've heard today saying she needs to be nominated for an Academy Award for this performance, no, BS. She played two performances. Yes, she did. But you know what? The performance, she went to acting school. She's played an array of characters. Just because she did two performances inside of one movie doesn't make her this performance great. Now, you want to see a great performance between multiple characters? Go check out James McAvoy in Split or Glass. He goes from character to character in the blink of an eye. Now there's a guy who did a performance that is worthy of accolades. Okay, so if you're going to tell me that Lupita Nyong'o needs to get an Academy Award because she played two performances inside of one movie, I say, well, good for her. She's a great actress, but Academy Award? No, not in the no. I'm sorry. And if I ever meet her, I will apologize to her for my opinion, but I'll stick to it. I'll say something like, you know what? I'm glad they nominated you for that Academy Award for whatever, and you did a great job, but I don't agree with it. And good for you. Now, the chances of me meeting her, probably slim and none. So I can stay over here, much like somebody sending in an email or writing a blog. I have the good position of being on this side of the camera for right now. If I was standing next to her, I would probably not say and be as candid as I am with my critique. I would probably just say nothing. But anyhow, guys, there's my review, and there's the top 5 movies for this weekend. And I'm sorry that this video is coming to you without all the wonderful experiences I try to put into my videos with graphics, pictures, music, and the opening sequences, better lighting and better camera work and better audio. But you know what? Rather put out something rather than nothing. So as I come to a stop here on Route 295, I'm going to go ahead and hit the save portion on this video, upload it, and I hope you enjoy it. And please keep subscribe, keep watching. I'll put out better videos more frequently. So like this video if you like it, subscribe, share with your friends, and by all means, shoot me an email or add a comment to this video. Let me know what you thought, because I'd like to hear from you. All right, guys, have a great day. My name is Chaz Riddle. Bye-bye.